Hello everyone, welcome to Rise of Patience. This is a standard one versus game sent to me by one of the viewers, and I'm going to record and watch this, and if it turns out to be an interesting game, I'm going to post this on YouTube. So if you want any of your games which you think was really good, worth watching, if you want any of your games to be casted by Rise of Patience, please send them to me on Facebook, or you can comment and send a link to your cloud drive, and I'll get the replay from there. So let's begin. This game is a standard one versus one on Great Himalayas. Great Himalayas have a dense woodline on the edges of the map, and there's only mountains in the beginning, in the middle. On one end we have Vandrien with Egyptians, and on the other side we have Inter as Romans. So Romans get a free military upgrade, and Inter has decided to start with science and commerce. That's a kind of non-conventional start. I assume he's doing that because he wants to get this die, and then he wants to go Civic 1. The problem with that is if you wait to get die, you will have the second city a little later, and you're going to be stuck with a 70 food income for some time, unless you get lucky and you find a food rare. On the other end, Vandrien has decided to go with a conventional start, science first and then the city. So that means, so actually it could have been the other way around, because Egyptians don't need the second city as much as any other civilization does, because Egyptians can get 7 farms in a single city. That means 70 food income. Then they get plus 10 from the city, that's 80, and then they get a 20% boost because of the granary. So that makes it about a 94 of food income without the second city. And with the second city, it makes it 104. So Egyptians are actually better off without the second city. And a very nice tactic to be used with Egyptian, and maybe I'll make a tutorial for that very soon, is to skip Civic 1, directly go to H2 and start raiding with the stable units. And since Vandrien even has horses, that would have been a viable choice in this case. So let's see, here's Vandrien with 80 food income. On the other side, we have Inter with a lower food income because he delayed the second city. So that's the only reason why people or any player would not skip Civic 1 in the beginning, because they really need that food income, and food becomes the limiting variable initially, because without food you cannot go to H2, and without going to H2 you cannot make stables, you cannot start mining or gather knowledge, and you are stuck with the ancient age units only. So there is the late city. Another problem I want to point out with a late city is that, oh, that ruin was taken by Vandrien, and it was so close. It feels bad to get that ruin taken right out from your territory. So yeah, as I was saying, another downside of building a late city is you can get raided. So we have seen many of the standard 1v1 games in the past where often one of the opponents had an aggressive nation, like Aztecs or Bantu, Iroquois, in which case they send early raiding units, and if they find a city being made, they can easily stop that city from being built, and it costs a lot of idle time for the villagers, and you also get you are also late in building the second city, so you cannot start building these farms. So eventually that does accumulate, and it becomes a big problem. So there's Vandrien already at 100 eco, while Inter is a little late for that, and I would say that's partially because of this late second city. That's a good rare to have for Romans, especially because Romans get free tactics upgrade, free armor upgrades, as long as they have the required military research. So for any other civilization, if they want to get the first tactic upgrade, they need to be on military level 3, and they also need a castle from where they can research this. With Romans, they just need the upgrade 3, and they need the military 3, and the armor upgrade comes in automatically. On one side, we see Inter taking the stable raiding route here. He is researching a military 2. He can send a horse archer or a heavy cavalry, and a similar thing being done by Vandrien, and it makes complete sense. He has horses, he should be doing that. I also want to mention how awesome these chariots are, because these are the only heavy archers, horse archers, that can actually take down a light cavalry, because these can fire backwards, right, like 180 degrees back while they move. The other horse archers, they can't do that. They can only fire on their sides. So these are really awesome. I love them because they are very easy, comparably easy to run away when your opponent is chasing you with a light horse. Oh, looks like Inter is already put a defensive light horse. It's a very good tactic. He is expecting Vandrien to get that, and and Vandrien does come here. So you can see that the chariot is attacking the light horse even while the right horse is completely behind him. Oh my god, it looks like this chariot is going to take down the light horse, and that's exactly what I was telling you. And oh my god, it just barely survives with 1 health. That's how awesome these chariots are. So that was a border push coming from Inter. If I was Vandrien, I would be expecting a city to be on this side or that side. Since this part is blocked, this might be a better part to take the city. And you can see that change in terrain. I think a city was put down. Yes, the city was put down. A sudden change in terrain, that should notify you that your opponent is trying to build a city there. So that's a very nice place for a city, because with this city he is protecting both furs and he's also getting silk inside his territory. Meanwhile, Inter continues to raid. It's a good he has a scout with him, which is not bad, but initially in the early game, people don't usually send in spies where the scouts can help. So it may be a good idea just to look ahead, but it does not help a lot. Let's look at the other rare resources both teams have. Vandrien has horses, which I have mentioned before. Horses are amazing, especially they really complement Egyptians, because Egyptians have got some nice cavalry units like the camels and the ranged cavalry. So they are the only they are the only civilization that has 2 special cavalry units. And Inter is doing a nice job. He is keeping Vandrien busy. He is raiding on the other side, but it looks like Vandrien has a defensive chariot unit to save himself. That's nice. And Vandrien also got a nice eco for himself here. Inter has an okay eco, not really good, but it's understood because he had to get that 3rd city fast, so he was delayed. But he has a good knowledge income, and it's much easier to get the knowledge income with Romans, because Romans get a lot of free wealth income. They get a +10 for every city they have. So compared to a typical civilization, Romans will have +10 more wealth for every city they have. Right now he has +30 more wealth. But Egyptians also get a wealth bonus. I think their farms collect wealth. Yes, so each farm collects +2 wealth, which is not bad. So if he has 10 farms right now, he is collecting 20 wealth as well. I really like Egyptians because even though they look like an economic civilization, but they can also be used for doing decent attacks and raids thanks to their units and thanks to their granaries and the 7 farms in a single city. They can easily max out the food income within 2 cities. They don't need the third city. A lot more civilizations do. I think the only other civilization that can max out at 150 or 200 of food income without the third city would be Germans, apart from Egyptians. Oh, it's weird that Inter already knows where the Vandrian's chariot is coming from. That did he forget it? That was a bad idea, bad maneuver. He should have kept him going in a straight line. So the strength of the chariots come from continuously moving because they are, as I've told you, they can easily even take down light cavalry. So as long as they're moving, they keep firing, and you need to keep them on the move all the time. Inter is a little late for the medieval age. He has a lookout here, and now a lookout is a very interesting building that a lot of newbies forget. A lot of newbies forget that because they don't understand that lookout can see invisible units. So if this senator was here in an ambush, the lookout would have seen that. So it's very good to identify ambushes, make sure you don't get targeted by your enemy without you noticing it. So both the players are raiding each other, but Inter is a little deep into Vandrien's territory. He's right onto a trading route. It's a great strategy to be inside the trading route because that way he is taking down caravans. And did he took out 3 caravans? I'm not sure, or maybe Vandrien just didn't make 3 caravans, but you can see that he did mess up Vandrien's wealth income. On the other side, Inter was not really affected by this raid because this was only superficial. It was only limited to this city, and Inter doesn't have a lot of things going on in this city. He had the opportunity to get this fur down. I don't know why he didn't send a heavy infantry. It would have been a good idea. Meanwhile, Inter does nice raids. Those heavy infantry for Romans, they're awesome because they are strong against any cavalry unit, just like a heavy infantry, but they're also strong against heavy infantry. A great idea to take down these horses. So if you are in your opponent's territory, you should, of course, it's a good idea to try to protect your army if possible. But if you think you're going to die anyway, try to take down with you as many things as possible. So with this position, the Inter he's way into the corner. He's way inside Vandrien's territory. If I was him, I wouldn't expect to survive this. So it's just and he's being chased by cavalry. So there's no way he can outrun those cavalry. So it's just better to attack, or maybe he will save 1 or 2 units. So that's Vandrien's third city. A little late. Vandrien has a nice food income thanks to the Egyptian bonus, and Inter is doing fine. That's not a bad economy at all. And another great move, Inter is trying to get as many merchants as possible while he is in the enemy territory. So I don't know who this player is. This is probably a Smurf, but he's doing really good right now. Apart from the fact that he went Civic later after Commerce 1, I really like his game style so far. And there's 2 barracks coming, a second stable coming. You know what that means, and 2 sieges. So it's a clear indication. It's a clear. So right now, Vandrien doesn't see that. If Vandrien was to send in something and any random unit just to, even if it dies, but if it finds out about all this, Vandrien can be he can be alerted about the fact that Inter is going to launch a full-scale attack soon. Meanwhile, Inter has or already has the science upgrade. He is going for military level 3 on this side. So Inter doesn't know about the silver, and silver is a really nice rare to have because it 15% reduction in aging cost is a good advantage. At the same time, none of them is using cotton, but cotton is a rare worth using, no doubt. Vandrien is in Inter's territory trying to raid, but that's not a big army. I don't expect it to do a lot. Can he take down this merchant? I'll be surprised if he can. But the downside of this raid is it means that his senator is right behind. So the senator can no longer provide any healing benefits to the units here. While this city is fairly protected, the problem is the city has a lot of. This city is kind of a meeting point for these caravans, so it's not adequately protected. There's a tower, but this Roman army is too much for these things. These few units to handle, and Vandrien needs to. He can leave those arch crossbowmen there, but he needs to get this senator back as soon as possible. He really needs to go back. And meanwhile, nice raids by Inter. He is trying to get as many archers as possible. And looks like Vandrien fought it off even without senator. That's not bad. Vandrien got his. But do you see what happened here? Vandrien's scholars are lurking around here. He has practically no knowledge income. That's just 10. In which I see that Inter can age to gunpowder, but he is not doing that. So one of the possibilities is that he forgot to age gunpowder, or he has something else in mind. Maybe he wants to go enlightenment age. Does he want to do that? And that's a really nice economy compared to. Well, he also has a nice economy, but he lost a lot of wealth income and knowledge income because of that attack. As Inter took down that university, it messed up all the. Yeah, it did mess up all the knowledge income, and because of those caravan raids, his wealth is also bad. And wealth is a very important resource to have, because the strongest units in this game require wealth, like the heavy cavalry and the archers. I consider heavy cavalry and archers to be a very good combo, and both of them require wealth to be made. Although after a gunpowder age, the archbishers are fairly good unit to have, and they do not cost any wealth. Another raiding unit coming from Vandrien, and Vandrien does seem to have an upper edge in the army right now. What is Inter doing? That's a lot of knowledge. Does he not plan to do anything about it? Oh, so I want to take it back. I just realized Inter does have army, but he is hiding it. And when Vandrien, he hit 2 of the villagers, but he got none of them. And that's an upgraded heavy chariot. And that's the power of militia. Militia can take down raiding units a lot better. Like, they are the last resort when you don't find yourself in any position to send a defensive unit. Militia can do a lot for you. And I think Inter's bought some food so he could age. He has the extra science research, because of which now he can upgrade his he can do this knowledge efficiency upgrade as soon as he reaches gunpowder. I do not know if he has that in mind or not. Meanwhile, Vandrien seems to be in full swing. He has a nice eco. His wealth is back on track, and he seems to be booming really nice. He has his commerce 2, commerce 3 coming. Oh, and this is a pro move. I would like to mention it right now, since I have not mentioned in any of my previous videos. This allows you to see what your opponent is up to, getting your spy to bribe the opponent's library. This is such a nice move, and it can be used in both nomad and standard. So if you're not sure if your opponent is trying to boom a lot, or if he's going to attack soon, just send a spy, get his library. Even if your opponent realizes that you have his library, you just need a glimpse of it. So Inter knows that Vandrien is not really ahead. He is doing well, but he is not going to be aging to enlightenment anytime soon. So Inter can use it for his advantage. Like, he has all the wealth and knowledge he needs right now. And constant raids coming from Vandrien, that's a really good way to keep the opponent busy, to make sure he makes mistakes, he does not stay too relaxed, he doesn't boom too much. A good thing that Inter could do right now, since he has seen so many raids coming from this side, it's not a bad idea to set a tower right here, even one right here. And especially because Romans get cheap towers, so it's not a big deal. It would certainly save him all this effort of chasing down the units and make his life much easier. Oh, okay. And Inter has the fourth military upgrade. That means he's getting the +6 armor compared to the +4 that Vandrien is coming. But Vandrien has a scout which is almost dead, but he did service purpose. He sniped one of the spies and he's done. And suddenly it seems like Inter has a bigger army than Vandrien now. A mistake for Inter that I like to point out is he had Despot, and despotism is a great way to make sure your opponent is constantly raided, because you have the extra line of sight, and you also have the supply wagon function of the Despot, and you also get a +15 plunder every time your your unit destroys something in the Despot's range. He needs to get this spot in front so that these cavalries can enjoy the armor bonus. But yeah, anyway, so the Despot, if you are going Despot, you should try to make sure you're raiding your enemy time to time, and these units need to be under the get that Despot here. Yeah, these units need to be within the radius of the Despot, so they all get the benefits of the Despot. So as I was saying, if you're going Despot, it's a good idea to keep attacking your opponent. Make sure he cannot utilize the eco as much. If you're not doing that, you are just wasting the Despot. Yes, it does provide you cheaper military upgrade, but apart from that, there's nothing a lot. In fact, if you wanted to, if on the other side you had gone Senator, you would have got the +50 eco advantage, and that could have helped you instead if you don't want to raid that much. Luckily for Inter, it has worked out, because he's making a lot of units, and he has a better army than Vandrien. So this is another thing that Vandrien does wrong every time. He has the resources, he has horses, he even have resources to go monarchy. If he wants to save himself right now, he needs to get more stables and spam a lot of cavalry units. Not that he's doing bad, but he could easily take on this army. He does not need to struggle. He has so many resources. I mean, if he had another stable, he could easily start spamming those heavy cavalry. Look at all the metal and wealth. Vandrien is so good at booming that I sometimes Whenever I play against him, I make sure I keep raiding him, because if he booms, there's no way I'm going to catch up with him. Oh, that stable is not doing anything. It's going to hurt Vandrien. So, and I do not understand why he's making the light cavalries. Light cavalries are not that strong. In fact, he has so many resources. He can even get these spies coming out. Let's see. Does blue have any? Blue has no scouting units. Just two spies and it could be over for Vandrien. Meanwhile, blue has all the knowledge in the world, but he does not want to go to Enlightened Range 88. And it makes sense. He has an advantage. He would rather finish this while he has the time. It's a neck to neck battle right now. Vandrien bribes using his senator. I so wish he makes another stable, or so this is all not good for not good for him right now. I think he's going to lose that city. He is. Vandrien has so many units. I can imagine 10 heavy horses coming right here from multiple stables. He can even buy some wood, get stables out. I feel so bad right now. Meanwhile, Inter is doing fine. He's not utilizing the knowledge properly, but he is doing awesome on with his army. He has units coming from the barracks whenever he can afford them. So that's bad. That he has his senator garrisoned inside. This is not at all good, because all of his units are missing out on the healing and the armor upgrade. And his that's just finally he gets them out, but it's too late now. Oh, Vandrien, I feel so bad for you, man. You had this game. You had this game. There was no way that you should have lost this. But a really well played game by Inter on the other side. He made a lot of mistakes, no doubt about that, but he took that chance. He made sure he attacked Vandrien with all he had. That's a really nice army. And Vandrien could not utilize the resources he had at hand, and that's what makes it. I wouldn't call him an Inter player. He is definitely a pro player, but this is where he lacks every time. He does not make enough military buildings, and he cannot utilize all the resources he has. He is a great boomer, but he cannot utilize that boom. And I hope in future, if Vandrien is watching this, he will improve on in this point, and there's no doubt he can be the best player in this game. So that'll be it for this rockcast, I would say, and I'll see you all next time. I would like to tell you that this weekend I may be commentating with another fellow Ron member, and we'll be doing a joint rockcast, maybe a live cast if there are players in the lobby, and we could cast a game live right there. So please watch out for that. Thank you, and I'll see you later.